Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my UFC 3 career mode with Zdeno, Chara, and today we look to get a little bit of revenge against a certain someone, and we look to hopefully get our second chance at making it into the UFC, whether that be through the Ultimate Fighter again, whether that just be outright getting a contract offer. Things were looking good for us until we suffered that decision defeat in the second round. Actually, really in our second fight, so it would have been the quarterfinals, the first round of the Ultimate Fighter. But that is all right. It is time to get back to business as we get ready to train to get our revenge on Addison Duncan. Now, as I've mentioned a couple of different things about this series. I still wish I could be taller than 6'6", by the way. I really do. I've mentioned a couple of things about this, though. I expected to have a bit of a slow start in this series in terms of being a brawler, being a heavyweight, knowing that I was going to have to play this smart and safe on Legendary if I didn't want to sit here and get knocked out in our first few fights. Without having certain attributes trained up, without having higher level moves, it was going to be a bit of a challenge. And of course, playing on Legendary as well, not being able to see the stamina bar. There's a couple of different factors that go into it. So I knew it was going to be a little bit of a slow start, but I'm hoping this is the episode where we start really stringing together some impressive knockout wins. Again, it would be nice to get, as I'm getting picked apart here, it would be nice to really start making a name for ourselves with these knockouts. But most importantly, wins. That's what matters, as my training partner is pretty good at slipping strikes, but that is okay. We're up to 91 moderate fitness, which means we're that much closer to kind of maximizing our returns with our training. So right now it's just a matter of getting those attributes up there as best we can. Not really going to worry about promoting too well. Our chin strength has gone up by quite a bit, which I'm not exactly regretting doing, because we may have lost that last fight via knockout had we not. I'm also going to bump up our submission defense a little bit. I think we'll just keep alternating between these more important stats. And whenever we end up in a situation like this week where we only have 10 points left, we're definitely going to focus on submission defense and grapple stamina more than the clinch grapple and stamina. We have 2 more weeks of training before we get into the first fight of this episode, and it's just gonna be more of the same. Let's go with footwork and leg strength. That works for me. Let's go with footwork, body strength, and leg strength. Train all that up. Strike speed and power. The endurance as well, quite important to us, but obviously most of these stats pretty damn well important to us. As I mentioned, I would like to work up the clinch game as much as I could throughout this series, but that and just the whole grapple attributes in general, that's going to be pretty much the last thing we focus on. I don't think I can really prioritize as a brawler trying to replicate jerseying someone and catching them with uppercuts, as nice as that would be. So we're looking good, though. Heading into this fight, that is the most important thing. Despite looking a little bit shaky there oh man, I'm -2 to our endurance due to injury. Hopefully that doesn't affect us too much. Despite looking a little bit shaky, as we also suffer another injury. So we have -2 endurance and -2 blocking. That's not ideal heading into a fight against an opponent, a competitor that we have already suffered a loss to. But maybe, just maybe, we can make quick work of our opponent this time. Having 3 rounds to work with as well, rather than just 2, I feel like that's going to play a pretty big factor. But we know he is capable of a lot of output. The stamina might not be as big of a factor with him. You also got to get ready and be prepared for kicks. That was a pretty big factor in that fight as well. But here we go, Addison Duncan against Zdeno Chara. Let's do this. Zdeno Chara / Nick Bonino / everyone else that you guys have said we look like, which you're not entirely wrong. Game Face, as I said, gave us an interesting combination of players as we catch our opponent with the overhand early. Strong start. That's what we need to rely on, keeping it simple. There's that front kick, though. That's what I was scared of. Good 1-2. Come on, we got this. Or not. We see the second. I try to talk like I'm getting confident. I get caught with something. That's why I know I'm trying to stay focused, calm, cool, collected, so we don't get absolutely ripped apart. Legendary is no joke with a brawler. I don't have the ground game that I can fall back on to really just kind of cheese the AI and get that easy win. I don't have that with the stand-up. I gotta be smart and not lean into hooks. Doesn't help that he keeps putting the pressure on and backing us down, trying to get out of the corner. It's not working out too well for me though. Good sidestep, 1-2. Second strike was blocked. Might be worth trying to play the body here as much as we can too, just to slow him down. We're catching him with some good strikes though. He's not defending as well as he did in the first bout. Didn't mean to throw that leg kick, but it worked. I feel like we're getting a little bit tired though. It's either that or we're just stuck up against the cage, so we're slowing down a bit. The elbow misses. We get caught with the body kick, but fire back with the 1-2. There we go, Z. Keep working him. Keep working him with those hooks. Tried to time that kick right. We drop him with the right. We are jumping in, and there it is. What a way to start off the episode. He wasn't defending those hooks very well, and it's a hook that dropped him. It was quick. It was bloody. But Zdeno Chara will walk away with the win. He gets caught. What a right hook. He gets caught after throwing the kick to the body, and we were merciless with the ground and pound, just straight lefts. God, that animation. Sometimes it looks good. That animation looked pretty bad. It looks like when you're like, I don't know, if you don't have a brother, but it's just one of those things where it's like you pretend to just beat the shit out of your little brother, even though I was the little brother. So, I don't know. It's weird. It was nice to be on the other end of that. Just nothing but straight punches to the head. What I'm saying is, though, pulling the punches, it looked weird. That's all I'm saying. 49 strikes in that fight, 22 significant strikes. We threw 72 total strikes in that round. We were very busy, very active, but it paid off, defeating Addison Duncan. I could have done much better with what I was trying to describe there as far as that animation looking terrible. I'm just like, you know, it reminds me of getting into scraps with my older brother. I don't know, I guess that's the one thing. I don't know why that's the one thing that came to mind, but it did. Regardless, we are back in the win column, and I'm not sure what's coming next, whether or not it is another chance, another opportunity to try and impress Dana White, or, you know, maybe something a little bit different. We know we're still signed to WFA, though, so we got a chance against Lucas Lawson, Jackson Thomas, and Caleb Silva. Silva has the grapple advantage. Thomas has the grapple advantage. Every fight is a 4-week training camp. So I'm honestly looking at who the easiest fight is so we can take as little of damage as possible. And that would be Silva. We're going to have to worry about the ground game a little bit. But considering it's a 4-week camp, as much training time, regardless of who we fight, it's probably better to take the easier fight here. Train up and make the most of it. So let's get right back into this. We do have a 4-week camp. Unfortunately, we can only afford to train for 3 of the weeks if we go to that main gym. Now, we can go to our own home gym for free. The problem with that is that you're not granted any sparring time. So very little returns. So we are going to go for 3 weeks. We're going to spend every last penny that we have to make this happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up having to train out of the basement gym at this point in time. But let's get right back into sparring, see what we can do here, get back up towards high fitness to get as good of returns as we can. To be honest, though, being at 74% moderate fitness, this might have been the right week to kind of make this happen and to go from the home gym, although I'm getting ripped to shreds here. All right, calm down, buddy. You're supposed to be mimicking a grappler. You're not supposed to be outworking me on the feet. What's up with that? Don't know why I'm trying to work the body in a sparring session. There's no real point to that. Takedown attempt is successful. Right. See if we can get up early, and we will. Beautiful. Let's do this. As Doggo was on the move in the background. be warned. Doggo has spotted a squirrel and or cat. She's on the prowl. She's on the hunt, defending her territory. Much like we're defending our territory here in the Octagon. What a perfect way to bring that back to what we're doing here. Let's see if we can block this transition attempt. We can. Let's rain down some hell. 5 seconds left in this session, and I'll take it. Not bad. Up to 94% moderate fitness, so very quickly. I'd say after 1 or 2 training sessions, we're going to be into the green. We'll get the most returns that we possibly, the biggest returns that we possibly can out of training. It does suck, though, to be without the that 4th week of camp, but after the victory we just pulled off, I'm not as concerned about it. There we go. We're into peak fitness territory already. Let's go 1 for submission defense, and we don't have a 30-pointer, so we'll go another session there into submission defense, and we'll go for head work, footwork, or head movement, footwork, and strike stamina. 2 weeks left of training to prepare for this next fight, trying to earn our way back into an opportunity to get to the UFC after not making the most of our chance on the Ultimate Fighter. I don't know. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll work out that we're being given, or that we now have the opportunity. We weren't given the opportunity. We were demoted to this opportunity. But now that we do have the opportunity to train up a little bit more before getting to the UFC, it could be beneficial for us, as opposed to getting to where we want to be a little bit earlier than maybe we should be, by just running through everyone and knocking everyone out in our first couple of fights, despite the fact that we are technically still undefeated. Of course, Ultimate Fighter fights, just in general, that's a weird way to phrase it, but fights on the Ultimate Fighter are, of course, exhibition fights, so it doesn't count against our record. Didn't mean to double up there in training, but that is okay. We are good to go for fight number 2. Of course, we didn't work on any promotion whatsoever. That is something I'm going to have to focus on once we get to the UFC, to try and make sure we can get as much money as possible to get into those better gyms as soon as possible. But I'm hoping that my choice here of ducking the more difficult competition, I'm hoping that pays off. I'm hoping we can get the win here in somewhat quick fashion. I wasn't expecting a first-round knockout in our last fight, but we were able to pull that off without taking all that much damage. Oakland King, despite being from Brazil. Alrighty then, we have the reach advantage, as you would expect. Let's do this, Herb Dean. Get it started. Are we touching gloves? We are. Let's go. We got this, Z. We got this. Don't you try to load up on an uppercut. Caught him with a couple of hooks. There we go. We're looking good, except for that uppercut. Beat us to the 1-2. Beat us to that uppercut as well. Alright, he's doing well for someone who wanted to get this to the ground. And he nearly will. We're able to break that before he is able to get us to the ground, though. Good job, Z. Staying on your feet. Struggling to get our range here. Good leg kick. Obviously not wanting to throw those too often. It might be worth trying to throw to the body. As I say that, we get caught. 1-2 misses again. Try to calm down on throwing those hooks. Keep it simple with the 1-2s in case we miss. Don't want to waste too much stamina. He's doing well avoiding shots to the body. Good straight. Come on, Chara, we got this. We don't have to connect too many times to put our opponent into a very dangerous situation. Tried to throw the uppercut. Still a little bit slower on some of these strikes than we'd want to be. As we're able to connect. Body shot in the hook. Able to connect again. We're looking good here. That hook just misses, though, and that is the one thing that's difficult about heavyweights and brawlers that I've seen, is it can be difficult to get your range. We're looking tired, but we've caught him. Can we break the guard? We can, but we're going to back down here just to regain a little bit of stamina. We were starting to get tired around the time that we won that last fight. Uppercut doesn't go through. We're able to block that transition. We're able to block that one as well. No clinch, no takedown for you, sir. Right back to the feet. Not where you want to be. Good 1-2 there. He battles back well. Terrible set of strikes. There we go. Caught the kick. Overhand's blocked. And we'll settle down on stamina again. That's something that we had trouble with at one point, was finishing fights. As that takedown goes through, Not ideal. Let's wait for him to make a move. Let's block that and get right back up. That's what we wanted. 1-2 connects. He's starting to get aggressive, though. He knows he needs to. Another right hook lands, and he gets another takedown. I thought I did well to block that. Apparently not. We'll block that transition. Get right back up to our feet. We are, despite not being that well trained as he went for the overhand, we caught him again. Trying to break through. Don't want to waste too much stamina here, though. Despite not being that well trained as we landed with the overhand, that was a very weird situation. And it leads to another first round knockout. I don't know what the hell happened there. We just kind of circled around him. Right here. That was where we dropped him with the jab before we missed the hook for a follow-up. But right here, this is the finish. The 1-2, and he leans right into that hook. That was a very weird end to the fight, but we are bouncing back in a big-time way. 2 straight knockouts in the first round as a follow-up. Down to 87.2 longevity. That's not too bad. That is the one thing I'm worried about, though, is the loss of longevity from these early fights before we even get to some of those big fights, more dangerous fights. He landed 2 takedowns out of 7 attempts. The 20 significant strikes. I threw 100 strikes in that first round. I'm probably being a little bit too active, really, in terms of just trying to get these first round finishes, but it is paying off. I'm not sure what's happening with the dog again. I think she spotted another cat. You know what? Jump cut. All right, we're good. I don't remember what point I was making, but we're good. We're back as Addison Duncan talking trash. Well, let's just go with the base answer. It doesn't really affect all that much. We have earned a contract. To the UFC we go. So that is the answer. No second stint, no redemption season in the Ultimate Fighter. No real fanfare. Just there you go. We are in the UFC. We have our first rival. Go figure. It's a very fitting rival. And we have our 5-fight contract with the UFC. So that is a little bit anticlimactic to not just immediately get into the promotion through looking for a fight, to not get into the promotion through the Ultimate Fighter, but we bounce back with 2 straight wins. Now we have our first official rival, and we will be having our first fight within the UFC in this episode, so that's not too bad. I'm not pronouncing his name. I'm not doing it. Come on. EA, what's up with that, man? We got David Romaine and Jude Lee. Well, every fight's a 4-week camp. I have the advantage over every single fighter. Who has the lowest health rating? It would either be Fuak Kao or David Romaine. And we'd have the stand-up advantage against Romaine. Surprisingly, I think Romaine has the worst stats there. He does. He's a little bit better at grappling. 63, 61, alright. 63, 69 for health. Yeah, I think David Romaine has the worst stats, so let's do this. The opponent's a member of your current gym. That just caused a bit of complications. What about Jude Lee? Alright, so we can take the Jude Lee fight. 3-1-3-9. So let's see. You know what? I'd probably go with, well, then again, we could ruin someone's undefeated streak. We could do that. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure. You know what? I gotta take the easier fight. We're going for Jude Lee. Let's do that. I would have gone for Romaine, but I still want to be able to train in the same camp just because we don't have the money to afford a new camp right now. So we gotta stick with where we're at in the boxing gym. We do at least have the money, just barely, to afford the 4-week camp. So we definitely have to work on promotion here in this fight. Or for this fight, I should say, as Addison Duncan continuing to trash talk again. I wish those answers mattered more. They kind of do. Like, it matters with popularity. But as far as, you know, like the fanfare you have there in the top right-hand corner, the little blue icon, 5,086. it doesn't really factor in all that much. It does factor into GOAT status, but once you end up getting towards being a champion and getting into a super fight, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like Jeopardy, I guess, where, you know, once you, or yeah, I guess Jeopardy would work. Once you get towards those later rounds, the early rounds don't matter as much because you make that much more improvement after, you know, actually, you know what, Trivial Pursuit. I'm thinking of Achievement Hunter's Trivial Pursuit Let's Plays, where whoever dominates in the first 2 rounds typically loses because those points don't matter. It's more like whose line is it anyway, really. But regardless, we are back. We are training. This guy's looking for head kicks, and that's going to get him into trouble. A lot of trouble. Nice push kick, though. A good front teep. No body kick for you, son. That's not how we do this. Although a good 4-punch combo for him. I'll answer right back. No kicks for you. You got to be quicker with those kicks. I'm watching out for him. I know how the AI works. They love them some body kicks. So we'll again catch him with the hook. He's still hurt. Z, knock out your training partner, Z. Let's do it. Overhand misses. Good 1-2. Missed that. One more big strike. It's like the end of fucking Rocky. We both just throw at the same time. We landed. That'll do it for the first and only sparring session. Teep kicks are difficult to defend. Are they? We'll see. When we're, you know, riding high after another first round knockout, we'll see how difficult they are to defend. What can I do to promote here? We have the streaming, we have the gym discount, and actually let's do that gym discount. We should have done that to begin with. We'll do the streaming and we'll post to social media. That does it for the week. We'll do the same thing here. We'll spend the first 30 points in promotion. And now we will train. Let's do it. You know what? We're going to start here with blocking, toughness, and heart. And we'll make our way up the list from there. Didn't mean to double tap, but that's okay. I mean, it's all stuff we're going to be working on at some point anyway. So it's not the end of the world. Up to 5,448 fans, man. As we'll continue to waste, or not necessarily waste, but we'll continue to use the 30 points at the start of each week to try and get the fanfare up there. Our footwork is already at an unreal 92, which for someone in the heavyweight division is pretty damn solid. We'll get the head movement and strike stamina up there. And again, we will bump up submission defense. That works out well. And we have one more week of training and promotion. Let's do it. We're up to 99% peak fitness. That'll probably be around a 101, maybe a 102 by the end of this. Our accuracy is up there. -5 chin strength. That hurts. That does. Admittedly, that hurts, but we should be all right. Let's go strike speed, power, and endurance, and then we'll do the submission defense yet again. So we're up to 80 striking, 61 grappling, 72 stamina, and 84 health. Not bad for being in such, you know, early stages of this series as we get ready for our first UFC fight. And we do get our fight hype up to medium, which could play out pretty well. Now, unfortunately, and I didn't know this with Slovakians, I'm actually just learning this now, apparently they only have the universal options. They don't have the actual trunks, so I guess we'll wear the black. We'll wear the away trunks. That is very, very disappointing. Of course, wanting to wear the Slovakian colors, it makes sense. I mean, even as a backup option, could have made sure that I was wearing black and gold for Bruins representation. That didn't happen either. But yeah, here we go. Our first UFC fight. Apparently it was yet again an appearance on Looking for a Fight. But regardless, we are here. The UFC Minute with Megan O'Leary.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan O'Leary, and this is your UFC Minute. The UFC returns this weekend with a fresh face who is destined to make headlines. When UFC President Dana White went looking for a fight, he was hoping that he would end up with a future UFC star. And those are the expectations after he signed a regional champion who has dominated the local heavyweight circuit en route to his Octagon debut this weekend. That's it for today. Stay tuned for your next UFC Minute, and I'll see you at the fights.
All right, here we go. Often the UFC Minute with Megan O'Leary just comes down to, oh, this fighter changed camps. Oh, baby. The only intro song you should ever have. The only intro song you should ever have for this game. So happy it's in there. It's perfect. But there we go. Utilize the speed. Won 4 of last fights via KO. And we have, in fact, won 5 in a row. Let's just not talk about the exhibition fights within the Ultimate Fighter. But yeah, the UFC Minute with Megan O'Leary, she often just talks about, oh, this fighter changed camps. Or if you reach a GOAT accomplishment, like the most knockouts or the most submissions in UFC history, she'll talk about that. So often, it's nothing all that important. But here we go. For the first time, we have taken steps inside the octagon. Although, I do want to see before skipping. We'll often skip these, these entrances and these introductions. Don't worry about that. So we're fighting the Englishman Jude Lee from Yarm, England. All right, I want to see what specialties he has, or what the notable points are for old Jude Lee. What a name. Well balanced, 10 career fights, or won 10 career fights and won 10 out of his last 12. All right, well, that wasn't all that helpful. Now was it? The 20-year-old, we have the height and weight advantage. We also have one hell of a reach advantage. Let's see if we can make the most of it. Zdeno Chara is in the UFC. Let's see what we can do. No leg kick for you. He does fight back well, though, with a set of jabs. He's aggressive. We caught the kick again. Wow, our hook was very slow there. Again, no kick for you, buddy. No kick for you. Keep looking for it, though. If you want to keep feeding me that leg, I'll gladly take it. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking now at this point as we drop him with the right hook. Try to break down the guard. Uppercut gets through. The hook doesn't. So we're on the back foot. Makes it through that time. He fights back well with a good 2-punch combo, though. Blocking the kick again. Oh, baby. I think he's done for. The uppercuts! And there we go. 1 minute and 6 seconds into our debut. And the big man, Big Z, gets it done. He was out from the first uppercut. The second uppercut was just extra and completely unnecessary right there. Fight is over with that uppercut. We caught him with the second one on the way down. I don't know what he was thinking. Now, I threw a lot of wasted strikes. That's my one takeaway, is I missed a lot of strikes. But regardless, we walk away with the win. And you know what? I think maybe, I know people are going to be saying, what the hell, where's the wiggle? I think we might have to add the Betchkohea celebration. But here we go. It has happened. A lot of wasted strikes, but we were very effective, particularly with our counter punches from the catch kicks. I'm not sure why he thought he could land those. Needless to say, after the sparring session, I was ready to counter them. And there we go. Big Z gets his first win inside the octagon. How I wish we could be 6'9", but what are you going to do? We at least tower over our training partners, over our coaches, and we have that first win. Let's get a look at some of these stats. Our first knockout win, our first finish, and our first fight. We're making our way towards GOAT status, which I'll take. 87 longevity, $20,000 in the bank. Let's take a look here, though. I threw 23 strikes in 1 minute and 6 seconds. We landed 11 strikes, all 11 of them considered significant. He landed 8 shots as well. We knocked him down 3 times in that 66 seconds, which is absolutely unreal. What a way to make your UFC debut. How we don't get performance on the night, I'm not quite sure. The extra 30 G's would have been nice, but what a way to make our debut. Woody Barrios knows what's up. Woody Barrios knows, and Brandon Moreno as well. Appreciate the support, Brandon. But there we go. I don't think Zdeno Chara would ever say #humbled. So let's do the second one. Let's do the second option. Why not? Maybe we can gain some fans out of that. But what a way to start. We are in the UFC, again, working our way towards fighting Addison Duncan yet again to get away from the Prospect label. We are 6-0 in our career, and let's take a look at who is up next. It is either going to be Benjamin Santos, who has one hell of an advantage in terms of grappling. Every week is a 4-fight camp, so we could go with Caden Wright, or we take on Fuok Kao, who doesn't have a defined advantage over us, and also just because I know you guys want to hear me try to pronounce that name again, and because I know some of you guys are going to want me to ruin his undefeated streak, that is exactly what we are going to look to do. The one thing we have to do, though, before we call it an episode, is I need to make it official. Now that we've made it into the UFC, we didn't have this as a celebration the first time, but that is okay. We're gonna ditch the Stipe personality, and we're going with the Betch Kohea, which means indeed the next time we win, Zdeno Chara will be doing the wiggle. Everybody knows, for those who have watched on Twitch, whenever I play UFC, you know about the wiggle. And in the next episode, unless things go drastically wrong, you will be seeing the return of the wiggle. So I thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you did enjoy, as I'm still trying to get my footing, get my groove with this series. Needless to say, this episode went quite well, especially too for a legendary difficulty run, but we are improving. The stand-up game is getting to where we need it to be, and I know just because people, I can't change it from legendary. I just wanted you. I know some people are gonna be like, oh, now you're knocking everybody out. You changed it. No, it's legendary, man. You can't change it. Anyway, thank you for the support with this video and for this series. Again, I hope you did enjoy. We'll be back next time as we now continue our UFC journey. As I go close that window because kids are outside yelling, damn kids, get off my lawn.